Yeah. It shows them like raving.
Oh, they get fucked up?
The
Amish get fucked up?
Dude, you grab my apple juice.
Didn't you ever hear where the Hells Angels got knocked off? They were running a cocaine ring with the Amish in York, PA. They were running all their blow in the carts. Yeah,
so it was like an Amish mob.
Yeah.
Oh, Amish Mafia.
Thanks, bro.
That's on like TLC, isn't it?
Thank you.
Is it on TLC? The Amish Mafia?
I didn't know that was real.
All right, shall we? Yeah. All right, yo. Quiet on the set. 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 What happened? We were just talking about it. Quiet on the set. 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 Quiet on the set.
Wait, speak up. What's happening?
Quiet on the set. Quiet on the set. Quiet on the set. Keenan. God damn. How many fucking times have we done this?
I feel like you like shit. I feel like
whatever.
You be making this shit up. I don't actually be doing it.
All right, what's up, everybody? This is PhuckWithPhilly, live from South Street with your host, MC Ali Rondo, Keenan from Limbo, touristy engineer, Aaron the Photog, and our special guest today, Mr. Novak. Give it up, guys. Give it up. Hey! So, Novak is from the legendary Jackass crew. He is also a professional skateboarder, also an author, a motivational speaker, and a interventionist. So, first off, real quick, Novak, I just want you to know that we really fucking appreciate you coming on here. This is an honor. Jackass, to be honest, like, growing up, you guys were such an influential thing to us in a lot of great ways, too. You introduced us to skateboarding. Yeah. And then also I think the number one thing that I actually love the most about it is, like, you guys were friends, and you felt that. You know, there's a lot of things that happened. I feel like, you know, there's a lot of these small like shows, clubs, whatever, right? And it seems like it's almost like brought onto each other. Like these people have to be together. Yeah. But what's really cool is that like there's a very authentic feeling to everything that you guys did.
Yeah. I think that plays a big part in the success of it all, right? Because it was not financially motivated and or driven. Mm-hmm. We really didn't give a fuck about like the paycheck that was at the end of the day.
You could tell it was
that at the time was like the epitome of carpe diem. We were seizing the day at its fullest. We didn't care about like women, homes, cars, statuses. You know, that didn't matter. It was just like who can make the other person laugh the hardest.
Yeah, that shit. You know? And that's all, and you feel that. You know what I'm saying?
We drove off that shit. You don't understand how many times we did. Yo, we was like a mini Jackass.
We swerved.
Everybody
Jackass.
was. Yeah. I mean, look, big influence to us now. You know what I'm saying? Because I think what that teaches a lot of people too is like just when it's authentic, people respect it. People like it. You know what I'm saying? Like when we meet all these people and we talk to all these people, they always tell us like, we can tell you guys been friends for a long fucking time. Exactly. And it's kind of like the same vibes that happen. But so, I mean, a lot of people don't even, I mean, like, how did you even first get involved with them? Was it?
Well, it's funny because like you have the West Coast California crew spread out like through the West Coast, and then you have the East Coast crew, which is primarily all Pennsylvania, except for me, right, which is from Baltimore.
So who did the crews consist of? What was
the West Coast?
Like Ryan Dunn, you know, the late great Ryan Dunn, Brandon DiCamillo, Chris Rabb, Ray Kian, myself, Bam Margera, you know, and some others here and there. But I'm the only one that was from Baltimore, born and raised, and my integration or merge into Pennsylvania or CKY, which came before Jackass.
That's the OG.
That was like the originator.
That was the band.
That's where it was birthed from. Was by way of skateboarding, right? Because actually the common theme throughout all of the people, all the different states, one common love and bond was skateboarding. So I had that I'm from Baltimore, Maryland, and there's another pro skater out of Baltimore by the name of Bucky Lasik. Bucky was the guy. It's my. I
used to play him on a Tony Hawk.
I have his name tattooed on me somewhere.
Yeah.
But
somewhere on here.
Yeah, it's fucking retarded. But I could just go into stories about these tattoos. But here's all right. Now you got me on that.
Sure.
So
how many? What you got?
Who could guess this tattoo right here?
It looks like some kind of bone. Is it a bone? Is that like an ultrasound?
So yeah, we could go on for hours about what it looks like. But here's the reality of what it is. At the end of my run after a 5-day cocaine bender, Bam and I are at his house, and we hadn't slept for 5 days. Fucking major blow, just partying and shooting a game of pool at 5 a.m. And our tattoo artist is there on standby. Keep in mind, I win the game of pool. I win the game of pool, right? We go in. I lay down on the bed. He puts a pillow over my head, pulls a laptop out, puts porn on, jerks off, comes onto my arm, and then we have the tattoo artist there on standby. The tattoo artist comes over, traces it, and then actually puts the cum in my arm.
Yo!
So he actually came in me without
I was about to say,
fucking
he
me.
fucked you.
But he didn't even fuck me.
I guess you're right. He didn't
It's like
penetrate
next
you.
level shit.
That's
Yeah.
a line of cum.
That's like
yeah,
money
it's
shot.
Bam's cum.
We just come in there, though, right?
But then he went over it and put the cum in my arm. But I won the game of fucking pool.
Yeah, wait. I'm confused.
It's
What
so
would happen
wrong
if you
that
lost?
it's right.
If you lost, what would have happened?
Who the fuck
You would have
knows?
shit on you or something? What the fuck?
We didn't even think that far. But
Yeah.
it's one of those things where it's so wrong that it's fucking not only
y'all
right, but
related,
it's
like,
brilliant.
at some point, y'all like
Booty
y'all got
bros.
the same blood
Booty
or
bros.
something, like y'all got the same something now. Like,
Blood
Oh,
brothers.
fuck, yeah.
Blood brothers.
I mean, at one point we were going to get
brothers.
married
Cum
on the
brothers.
Howard Stern show because like we'd be the best marriage because we love each other. We never get sick of each other's company, but we just don't fuck.
Yeah.
So it's like a perfect marriage, actually.
Yeah.
It's like an open
It
relationship.
sounds like actually every marriage.
It's like an open relationship, you know.
over
Yeah.
35.
But
So-
anyway, so that's
Yeah.
get me on fucking.
But so
So
you were
I'm
closest
out
with
of
Bam.
Baltimore.
Yeah.
I'm skateboarding.
You knew about Philly back there.
Yeah, so this is how I knew about Philly.
Yeah.
Some dudes from
DGK,
Baltimore
right?
used to come up to skate a park called Cheapskates
Cheapskates.
in Pennsylvania.
Word.
I was sponsored by Pal. Bucky was pro. I was amateur.
What, Paul
And-
Peralta?
Yeah, Pal Peralta.
Yeah.
And there would be another dude at the park, which was Bam. And Bam was just like me. He was young. We dressed the same. We loved the same thing, which was mini ramp. We were consistent skaters. We were outside of the box, like just fucking good, like mini ramp skaters, and we loved that shit. And we became best friends, but in the same token, we were arch enemies, right? So every year we'd practice for this contest called the NSAs, and either he would win or I would win, like clockwork.
Yeah.
One year, Bucky shows up for the contest, and
Destroys.
I don't go.
Oh, okay.
And Bam's like, "Yo, where's Novak?" And Bucky says to Bam, he's like, "He's on heroin." And Bam's like, "Well, what the fuck's that?" Right? He's so young, he don't even know what that word means at this point.
How old is y'all?
This is like 16.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
What was the age difference between you guys? Just a few
1
years?
year.
Just 1 year. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Bam's career progresses like insanely in a positive manner, and mine completely degresses in a very horrible manner.
Yeah.
He makes the CKY videos.
Yeah.
Well, he gets sponsored by Toy Machine, does really well, makes the first CKY video, makes
And then he
his
was with
first
Element.
million off of that. Yeah, Element was later. Makes his first million off the first
I didn't know he started with
CKY
Toy
videos.
Machine. That used to be my
Yeah.
shit. Johnny Layton was my favorite skater for a long
Yeah,
time.
was
so he
fire
started
shit.
with them. And then I fucking gave him my skateboarding career, and I had now become like a homeless heroin addict living on the streets of Baltimore City. And one day, I stopped into a skate shop to get some money in Baltimore. And unbeknownst to me, Bam was in there the day before doing a demo. And when he was in there doing a demo, he said, "Yo, do you ever see Novak?" And they're like, "Yeah, occasionally, but he's like on heroin, and he comes in to try to get money." He said, "Here's my number. Give it to him and let him know if he wants to get clean and he wants to get his skateboarding career back on track, he can move with me here to Philly."
Right.
Word.
A few days later, I stop in. They say, "We're not going to give any money, Novak, but here's Bam's number. If you
Like,
want
this is
help."
pretty good, too.
So, yeah. So about a week later, I end up calling that number. He starts bringing me back, letting me stay at his house, getting me skating again, filming me for the CKY videos. You know what I mean? It kind of gets me back on track with some form of incentive or motivation to want to do better.
So this was in Philly or was it in like
Westchester.
Westchester?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
like real close to Philly.
Yeah. So that was how I ended up, transplanting from Baltimore to Pennsylvania.
Yeah. And then Bam, he started getting hooked up with Jackass. Because I know a little bit of background on Jackass, that it was like, what was it, Big Brother, right? Mm-hmm. Which is a skateboard company. They had these like
Correct.
videos. I forgot what the name was of the videos, but they had like Steve-O. They had these guys doing these crazy stunts. And then it kind of turned into Jackass eventually.
Is that CK?
Yeah.
No.
CKY.
Well, I think
no.
you guys connected, I'm guessing. Is that how that
Yes,
kind of happened?
That's how that happens. So
Okay.
Tremaine, Jeff
Tremaine.
Tremaine in Knoxville
Jeff
flew
Tremaine.
out here to meet with Bam because Bam had already been making the CKY videos. Big Brother had noticed the CKY videos, and they're like, "Fuck, these dudes, right? Common bond skateboarding, the West Coast, the East Coast, our common bond is all skating.
Yeah.
These dudes have the same humor that we have. They're into the same fucking retarded, dumb, funny shit we are. Let's collaborate and see what becomes of it."
Yeah.
And
It
then
made great
that's what
design
you
of that
get.
shit. That
So,
shit was-
like, I guess the first few times doing Jackass, right? Because Jackass came out, and then Viva La Bam became its own. I mean, I probably watched, to be honest, Viva La Bam a little bit more than Jackass.
I fuck with Viva La Bam way more than Jackass.
I think, but Jackass came first. So, like, starting that off, was there like a incentive? Was there like did you guys have any idea like what the fuck was going on? Or were you guys just like, hey, we're just fucking around filming stuff?
Crazy because MTV came in with this insanely big budget. Right, started
and you guys
paying
were
us a lot of money.
Yeah.
And then like would go around and clean up and pay for any mess that we made.
Medical, all that stuff too.
We get insurance and all that shit. Okay. So
we're also getting sued and other
but
stuff,
they cover all that. You know what I mean? So it's like
we need an MTV.
Like me and this chick we're just talking about. You give someone that doesn't have. I mean, we had money at that point, but then MTV comes with this insanely big budget and just starts throwing money at everything. Yeah. We don't know how the fuck to act. We're so disconnected from reality.
You're like, I don't even
need abnormality that like you tell us no, we say fuck you. We're gonna break everything, and then we'll pay you for it.
Yeah,
you know. So it's like
that sounds like how it's supposed to be.
The perfect combination for fucking addiction later on down the road.
But in a way, I think. I mean, you guys were pretty. I mean, you guys were pioneers in that kind of sense. Because I mean, what was cool about it was that like I feel like a lot of these like these conglomerates, these people that like pay companies to do things, right? Yeah. What they do is they pay you and tell you what to do. Mm-hmm. But the one cool thing about Jackass, you could tell it's like you sold them the product.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you guys made it. I mean, you guys could have just used fucking VHS tapes for real. I mean,
that's how it started. That's how it started.
And then the demand.
Phil Bam's dad would fucking film us with a VHS camera.
Just
like no bullshit. That's
shit.
where it started. That's how it started. We didn't set out to like become filmmakers or like these pioneers of this new world order that we were starting. You know, they didn't fucking know.
Because we definitely started that around the same time as y'all was doing it. Because I remember we used to do like, what did we used to do? We used to take lotion. I used to take fucking.
What'd you do with lotion, Ron?
Bro, I used to pour lotion.
Yeah, that got my attention.
Yeah, Ron's just beating his dick on camera.
You know the little cups you pour.
That's not Jackass, bro. That sounds like softcore porn, bro. That's not even softcore. That's full on.
I feel like you're gonna ask if you can come on my arm on a second.
No,
you're not gonna do that.
You want a second tattoo, bro?
No more tat. No more tat art.
You got stick and pokes.
No, we used to do the dumbest shit. We used to take lotion and throw it at people at the bus stop. We used to take like fucking. I remember this one time, we got pulled by the cop. I don't even actually know if he was with us.
No, what did Keenan do, yo? Tell me what Keenan did.
I used to put mustard. I used to put mustard on the fucking school handrails. So when people got off for lunch, they would fucking put their hand on the joint. Like,
wow, dude, you're crazy.
We did all this shit.
Keenan's
that was badass.
We didn't get paid shit for it, so we should have recorded it. Like, yo, we didn't get paid a fucking $1 for it.
No, but it was fun, and I feel like
it was fun
in a weird way because I don't know like how you view it now and stuff like that, but I feel like I've heard podcasts with like the other members of Jackass, and they kind of talk about it like that it like did some bad to the community, but in a weird way, like it kind of like helped me. Really like the other shit we could have got into if we just weren't fucking around with each other. Like
it could have
been whatever. We could have been robbing people, fucking stealing, getting booked. You know what I'm saying?
I met this husband and wife who met and bonded over the TV show and then got married. You know, so shit like that I couldn't even like perceive or conceive that would come of that fucking retarded show.
Yeah.
So it's.
How do you feel when you look at the kids that was raised on you? Like we were like literally raised on y'all. Like how does it feel when you like look at us and you're like,
well, like me personally, it's weird because like of what I'm doing, right? Specifically as my own entity. You know, the road that I went on, which was that, and then I got really wrapped up in drugs and kind of just fucking lost everything, and then through the work of like getting sober and a lot of help from other people, I have this new journey that I'm on, which is helping people. So I have people actually just yesterday, this dude sent my people a message. He's like, you know, I used to look up to Novak. I used to party like him. I used to do drugs like him. He was my idol then. But now, like, I look up to him in this new sense where, like, I want to help people. I want to be sober. I want to, like, be a good human being. And that's the best part about that's pretty fucking cool.
Because they see the whole story. Like, they see it as a whole. Like, they see, like, they seen you at, you know, where you were. And they see you turn around, you know what I'm saying? So they appreciate it a lot more.
And they could trust your opinion on it because you've been through it.
Well, that's the thing.
It's very easy.
My journey's been so publicized and open, if you will, that it holds depth and weight, right? Like it's a little different than a 60-year-old professor standing before a bunch of kids reading out of a textbook what may or may not happen.
Who's fat as shit?
But
then they're telling me I'm unhealthy, but you're fat as shit. Like you're gonna fucking get diabetes, get gout or something, get your feet cut off.
You get a dude who clearly has been around the block a few times. There's no question to anyone's imagination if he's telling the truth, because you can see it in the tabloids, you can read my books, you can see it on the screens, you can look it up on the internet. And what that does is that says to them, if they're suffering, like if that guy can do it, there's no reason that I can't do it.
I've seen him do it.
Yeah. And something magical happens at that moment, and the terms of the individual's contract change forever at that moment. The moment that it becomes their idea, they excel at a rapid pace. You know what I mean? Because I don't know about anybody in this room, but as a person who's an alcoholic and who's fucking always been a bit further on the other side of the line, all that means is that I'm defiant by nature. I hate authority, and I'll never fucking conform, right? Unless it becomes my idea. Because I possess this job that consists of knowing everything. So when you tell me what I need to do, I tell you I need to fuck off. Yeah. But if it becomes my idea, I excel at a rapid pace. Right. So it's all just like wordplay and like fucking sleight of hand to deliver this kind of message in a very attractive, appealing manner, right? If I can make it desirable to where like the recipient of my message basically wants to fuck it, then like job done, you know? Because it's already an uncomfortable topic as is. Yeah. You know, who the fuck wants to admit that they've been defeated, that they've lost, that they've got beat the fuck up by, like, in my particular message, drugs and alcohol? Nobody wants to admit defeat. It's not what we're raised as. So it's just a word.
But it seems interesting though that oh my bad.
No. It was you saying like you defined by nature and shit. You was always like that as a kid. Like what?
Yeah,
what do you think
I mean
made
that
you...
as a skateboarder, absolutely. As a skater, right? Like I wasn't the cool kid in school. The varsity football players used to throw my skateboards up on the roof. I didn't get invited to the parties on the weekend because I was that little fucking skate rat doing kickflips in the parking lot. And then all of a sudden, right, I got sponsored by PAL. My picture starts showing up in skateboard magazines. I'm like the first skateboarder ever in the world to get endorsed by Gatorade. I'm hanging out with like Michael Jordan at a very young age. I never knew that. Now all of a sudden I become like the cool guy that the fucking broads want to hang out with. The dudes want to invite me to their parties.
Tables turn.
So now it's like fuck, you know what I mean? I've always had that.
But wait, Novak, how did that happen?
Listen.
I'm about to say,
before we move on, how did you like get with Gatorade, meeting Michael Jordan? I mean, that's
well. So I'm riding for Pal Peralta, right? Bucky gets me sponsored by Pal at the age of like 13.
Did you meet Bucky in Baltimore?
He was, Baltimore. He took me under his wing and kind of mentored me, if you will.
Did you just meet him at a skate park? Was it
at a contest? At a contest, and like he has the best style in the world, and Bucky is the fucking legend. He's aces in my eye.
So clean.
And he like recognized something in me, and he knew that like I had the potential to be somebody or do something with this sport. So he took me under his wing, and kind of the rest was history. But so I'm riding for Pal, and I'm 14 years old, and Gatorade, before they start sponsoring any extreme players, they went to like BMXing, volleyball, I remember.
Fuck BMXing.
Something else, skateboarding, and they went to like Pal Prod, and they said, hey, we want to like sponsor a skater, and they gave him a list of people that rode for Pal, and I remember I had to fill out like this questionnaire. And I remember, weirdly enough, they're like, what's your favorite movie? And I don't know why, but I said Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. I do remember that. It was a cool movie.
They're going to say Space Jam, and then you meet Michael
They're like, Michael Jordan.
Here's Michael Jordan.
Yeah. But anyways, the ending of that story looks like me being 14 years old. I get picked. They fly me to Chicago to the Quaker Oats building where they make Gatorade at the time. They take me into the warehouse. They put me on this treadmill, and they put Michael Jordan on the treadmill directly next to me, and they strap like these EKGs to our chest, and they're now giving us each Gatorade to see the effects that it has on different sports players.
What?
So that's
crazy.
That's fucking amazing.
That's pretty cool, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So how old were you at the time during that?
14.
That was 14.
14.
Yeah, but see, so then, like, at that point, though, I'm still, like, the skate rat, because at this time, skateboarding is not cool. It's not what, like, the cool people were doing.
You guys kind of made it cool, to be honest. You definitely made skating cool.
Yeah.
Because, honestly, so all those things you said that, like, we're the other people that kind of, like, was, frowned upon, whatever.
Yeah.
When we were in high school, when we were skating and doing all this shit, like, we were the fucking cool ones. We're the ones selling weed. We knew how to party. We knew how to have fun.
We were
24.
You're 24, so I'm 41. Right?
Different time periods,
So I guess.
But you definitely
without
did.
sounding
Y'all
egocentric,
So
egotistical, I guess we kind of paved the way.
course.
Yeah,
y'all
you paved the
definitely
way
did.
for sure.
There's nothing egotistical about it. It's just facts. I mean,
Yeah.
name one. Nobody
one
else.
what?
Name one thing that brought skating culture to us. 100% Jackass.
It
was 100% Jackass.
Viva La Bam.
Viva La Bam especially.
Yeah,
Yeah, Viva La Bam was
that shit
fucking
was
sick.
amazing.
I'm about to say,
bro.
y'all
So,
definitely did make
We
this
actually
shit
had
happen.
one of our high school gym teachers grew up with Bam.
Yeah.
I think it was Mr. Weathers or one of them. He used to talk about it. They used to take us to skateboarding
believe it.
trips when we were in
Yeah, that was cool.
in junior high. They would take us
Yeah,
to
they would take us on
skateboarding
trips when we were in
all the
junior
time.
high, bro,
That's
to
one
go to
of the
fucking
Jersey
skate
Which
parks.
Which is now ironic how the tables have turned because now, like, the ones who've paved this way, Bam just called me before I was coming over. He's like, yo, what are you doing tonight? You would think, he'd be like, let's fucking, like, something,
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm going to go do this podcast on South Street. I'm like, why? He's like, because I'm going to take me and my buddy Dennis, we're going to take our 2-year-old kids bowling if you want to go. So, like, just the difference a day makes after some years.
Hey, I have a
down the road.
3-year-old. I have a 3-year-old too, man.
Yeah.
He's not that good at bowling though, so that's pretty impressive. You know,
fire, yeah.
they're 2 and they can bowl.
I saw him skate. I saw you had him skating the other day.
Yeah, I'm getting him on the
Playing
board,
soccer?
trying a little bit. Yeah.
I'm not even playing soccer.
But yeah,
that's
so
crazy.
To take it back a little bit, so when you started with Jackass, like, and things started working out. I mean, it almost probably seems like it was like, did it seem so fast that it blew up, or was it a thing that's like you didn't even notice, and then one day you're walking around and you look at the newspaper, you look at the internet, and you're like, holy shit, like we're fucking huge.
No, we knew. I was the guy that would do any fucking stunt. Right, whatever was presented, if everyone turned it down,
one,
I would be like, "Let's do it." And this is the reason why, right? So you have a guy who had did some things in life, but prior to this was a homeless heroin addict living on the streets of Baltimore, letting men blow him for $40 to get another bag of heroin, eating out of trash cans. Right, so that's a little before Jackass.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I'm presented this opportunity to like do crazy stunts. I don't know what your perception of a crazy stunt is, but
You're like, hey man,
how
I've done it.
how much
you're like, I've done
crazier
it.
can you get than being a homeless heroin addict living on the streets of Baltimore, letting men blow you for $40, right? Like
That should have been a
so
Jackass
that-
skit
like,
for
this
real.
is a-
that was
advertising.
like
You don't understand how much I appreciate your honesty.
that.
though.
Well,
Like,
that's
you
the
keep
fucking
it-
reality,
you keep it
right?
real right
I
now.
don't like. I don't. I'm too
mean,
old
that's-
to fucking try to put this song and
course, man.
dance on it, and I can go into it hours why I'm so.
But you're just
upfront.
like, I'm getting paid to do something.
So I'm getting
that's
paid to do
fun.
something,
So I'm
right?
fucking fun.
I'm getting
Shit.
paid really well. I'm now becoming like a mega celebrity that's in these movies that break box office records. The party never ends. Anywhere we go, it's free drugs, it's free women, it's free fucking, you name it, it's fun. And it just goes and goes and goes. So that's how I noticed that it's like getting the attention that it's getting.
Right.
Not because of like the paychecks, but because of like
the stardom.
the drugs,
I mean, you guys were
the
stars.
free alcohol,
reaction
the
people
women
do.
in abundance.
Yeah,
And I'm like, holy fuck! And it's universal. It's not just
Yeah,
like
everywhere
in
you go.
Philly. It's in London.
everywhere
It's in
you go.
Finland.
Damn.
It's in Cali. It's in you name it. It's there. So that's how. And then right, the other reason why I would do any fucking stunt because at this point in time, I'm not allowed to do heroin, right? That word's frowned upon in the work world, let's just say, right? It's not a very professional thing to do heroin, and it's not talked about.
And it makes sense
But
that
I get
probably
it.
not,
I get
yeah.
it. But what is acceptable in that world is like loads of alcohol and cocaine.
Yeah.
So that's
true.
cool. No one frowns upon it, and I'm
true.
allowed to do that because when I do cocaine, I don't fall asleep in mid conversation. I don't steal your wallet and your car when you fall asleep to go score more. You know, I'm a normal guy when I do cocaine.
Yeah.
But when I do these stunts, right, the ones that no one else will do, it's a fucking win-win, right? Why? And here's why.
Get a high.
Number one, I get more screen time.
Yeah.
Number two, odds are I'm probably going to get hurt pretty bad, which means I'm going to have to be rushed to the hospital.
And you
And
get
now
some-
a doctor's going to say, whoa, you've just broken both your ankles.
Here's some Perk 30s.
Here's 5
Morphine.
refills of 30s. And now I get this, and it's sociably acceptable by my whole crew for me to get fucked up like I really want to get fucked up. So it's a win-win, and I'm getting paid for it.
You said so.
That's interesting.
Not to cut away. You said you get.
It's all perception, man.
Yeah,
You said you get more screen time. Did they like give you bonuses if you did like a stunt or something like that?
No, but obviously,
just
the more
like-
you're in it, the more of a bonus you get because the bigger you become. And then for me, the more drugs I get, the more fucking appearances I do in nightclubs, the more pussy, all that shit. You know?
That shit.
Was
All
the
that
craziest stuff
rockstar
you did
shit.
the Joan when you came down on the
ramp.
toilet with the ramp? What was it
Yeah.
called? Doodle
Yeah.
Falls. That was the craziest one you did.
Yeah.
I broke
That
all
shit-
my ribs and got a concussion on that. I would have fucking.
Yeah, we saw. It was
I
it was
wasn't
hard
gonna
to
wear a
watch little
helmet
bit.
on that. I wasn't gonna wear the helmet, and Knoxville
Thank
was
God
like,
you did.
Bro,
You
thank
need to
God
put a
you
helmet
wore
on.
that fucking helmet.
and I split that helmet wide open.
Yeah.
And you don't. It's like hard to split a helmet open.
That shit
I
was
know.
crazy.
Yeah.
So, yo, can you run through all the fucking shit you broke during filming that
Do you
shit?
remember?
Not like I mean, I broke both my ankles at the same time.
Are you serious?
And that was a bitch, right? Because I did that on Bam's Unholy Union. That show of him getting
Oh yeah,
married.
that spin-off
that.
joint.
Oh yeah.
And,
I saw
um,
that one. I missed it.
I fucking broke it. This is rad. I broke it the very last day of filming.
Are you
Right,
serious?
skating with Tony Hawk. He's flown in to do this thing, and it
Was
goes
it the upside down joint?
like
Oh, the
yeah.
loop.
And
Yeah.
I try it on Bam's board with his skate shoes.
Yo, I seen that shit.
And I'm like, I haven't been skating, and I'm on
Yeah.
drugs, and like a recipe for a fucking disaster. Sure enough, I tried. I break both my ankles. I go to the hospital, and I broke my ankles, and then
Oh,
I'm
so you couldn't walk. That's
no.
bad.
So and Bam's wedding's like the next day, and we're filming it. So I'm in a wheelchair for the wedding, but I keep getting so fucked up. I keep losing the goddamn fucking wheelchair. So now I get
Wait,
back.
so you was walking around with two
No,
broken ankles?
I would like lay on the ground and just drag my ass.
Holy shit!
Just because, like, whatever.
So
it
they
just
was
Bro,
filming
works.
your
she's
wheelchair.
cracking up. Over there.
So, but here's the fucking
They
hit.
stole your fucking wheelchair?
I'm sure. Who knows what
That's
this,
fucked
anything
up.
could have
Man,
happened
fuck
with
that,
it.
dude. I'll be mad at you. I'll be like, look, I fucking
I'm
broke
sure
my
I
ankles for real.
deserved it, dude. I was
Take my
not
fucking
like
wheelchair
a
too?
nice guy. I was
my
just.
God.
But then, so here's where the fucking perception, right? It's
of
all
course.
about perception, how you view it. So now I break my ankles on the last day of filming. We're done. I'm now getting workman's comp. I'm getting paid a shit ton of money, right? Because I broke my
So you're
ankles.
in a union?
Well, yeah, it's SAG. It's the Screen
really?
Actors Guild Union. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Jackass is a part of that too?
yeah, absolutely.
That's
So
fine.
now
awesome. That's cool.
I'm fucking back in Baltimore, laying on my second ex-fiance's couch, right? Because that requires a serious commitment, and I usually prefer to like get high as opposed to get married. So they end up leaving. But now I'm laying on her sofa, both my ankles broken. I'm getting like $3,000 a week. I have an endless amount of fucking scripts. I'm just hiding. But now when she goes to work, I'm getting in a cab and I'm going down to the hood to cop dope. And I remember it's snowing, and I keep fucking losing the crutches and the so I remember being in Baltimore City. It's snowing. It's icy, and I'm
Scooting
I'm
down.
like the only white guy in this fucking area where I'm going to score dope, and I'm in this alley dragging my ass up the alley with like fucking $600 to buy dope. That's what my life looked like,
Yo, that's...
right?
Sorry,
you would
Sorry, I don't mean to
This
laugh.
is not
but that's
funny,
fucking
dude.
brilliant.
It's like-
It's fucking
can't even rate
brilliant.
that.
It's
can't
funny
rate that.
because
You
you
cannot
are
make this
who
shit
you
the
are
fuck
now.
up, bro. You
And
cannot
it's
make
like,
this shit up.
It's
flip.
brilliant, man.
Yeah.
That shit is...
But see, that's where my message holds depth and weight. You know what I mean?
So you
Yeah,
ever think
bro.
about making like a movie out of all this stuff that you did? Because you went through a lot of shit. Like you
Yeah.
got a whole
Yeah, this is
story.
pretty
to tell.
Well, my next book comes out the end of this month, which is the sequel to my last book.
You wanna
My
plug
first
it?
book is Dream Seller. The next book that's
I heard
coming
about
out
Dream
is
Seller.
The Streets of Baltimore.
Okay.
Dream Seller, right? I'm not a fucking... well, I'm an author. Oddly, it sounds fucking weird to say. But I didn't graduate high school. I got my GED in the penitentiary. And the only reason why I took my GED in the joint was because... A, I had the time, and B, if you passed your GED in the facility that I was incarcerated in, you got a pizza party supplied by Domino's.
Fuck
That's
yeah.
lit as
So
fuck.
that's a fucking no-brainer. I aced the bitch.
That's
I get a GED.
I would do
But
that
this
now.
is after my first book is published. I write my first book, pen and paper. I don't use laptops. I can pawn them very well. I don't fucking use them. I have a co-author who's a very smart man with letters in front and behind his name. Forget that. I write this book in 12 chapters. I hand it to him. I said, I think I'm done. He turns 12 chapters into 23 chapters. The book becomes a New York Times top 10 selling author.
Good shit, man.
And I did that bitch without a diploma or, but here's the hit, right? So now
You left your
I've written
crutches.
this autobiography addiction memoir, right? I'm now a published author who's written a book on addiction. The book did fucking extremely, insanely well, right?
Yeah.
But here's the hit. I wrote the book while fucking doing copious amounts of cocaine and endless amounts of wine, right?
Yeah.
But now I'm an author who's written a book on addiction, right? So people think I'm this fucking Allah of addiction who can fucking, and meanwhile, I can't fucking stop using. But I'm in New York City at Times Square. My literary agent's there, my publisher's there, my manager's there. These very well-to-do people in the scholarly world are there. I don't have any dope that day. My people wouldn't give me any money for any dope that day because what I didn't
Novak's
understand
mad.
then that I
Sick.
understand now is that it would not be a good look of me doing an autograph signing of my own addiction memoir that I wrote while falling asleep on heroin. But, like, I have this disease from which I possess that when that bitch says jump, I say, yes, sir, how high? I don't have the privilege to say, yeah, that doesn't seem like a good idea. I got to work. No, like, when it says now's the time, now's the time. So I'm in New York. I'm at my own book signing. And all of a sudden, I don't have any money. I'm ill. I'm withdrawn. I'm ill as like a research monkey. I don't have any dope. I don't feel fucking good. And my buddy of mine with me is from Baltimore as well, and he doesn't feel good either. And all of a sudden, they wheel my books in on this dolly in these boxes. And me and my buddy, we take one look at each other. We don't say a word, but we have a complete conversation, that language of the heart, untreated, if you will. Yeah. I stand up. He stands up in uniform precision. We go over, I grab 2 boxes of my books. He grabs 2 boxes of my books. I've now just stolen 4 boxes of my own autobiography addiction memoir books that I wrote from my own book release party in New York City. We run right to Penn Station, catch the next train from Penn Station back to Baltimore to buy more dope. Oh. Right? I had a 3-book deal at that point in time. When they caught me stealing my own addiction memoir books from my own book signing to take back to Baltimore to sell to buy more dope, they ripped that contract up on demand. I say that to say this. 14 months ago, my 2nd book came out. The end of this month, my 3rd book comes out. I recently just published the first ever addiction graphic novel. And then I have another book to follow. So I'm simply saying, like, despite whatever the current situation seems at this present moment, with perseverance, dedication, anything is fucking obtainable.
Everything.
You know?
Everything. What I noticed, everything is temporary.
Feelings aren't facts. Feelings pass.
Yep, everything passed. Everything is temporary. Nothing is set in stone for that moment. Everything's gonna pass through. That's what's up, dog. Yeah. That's a hell of a story, though.
Bro, that's.
Damn.
I feel like I need to hear that right now. Yo, you got a testimony, man.
For real.
Real shit, bro.
Well,
yeah.
It's, you get to the point where the pain had become great enough that I was willing to do whatever the fuck it took for me, Brandon Novak, to get myself out of the position that I had created for myself. Right. So I found a mentor. I grabbed onto him. I had become open-minded to follow the suggestions that he was giving to me. And all I simply did was get the fuck out of my way. And I went from possessing that job that consisted of knowing everything to coming to the realization that what I do know is that I don't fucking know. Mm-hmm. And my very best thinking places me in these horrible positions time after time. And that lack of plan has produced the best of plans. Yeah. All with me just getting the fuck out of my way. Because I am the problem. Yeah. In all situations.
And that's the first step, taking that responsibility.
Absolutely.
That's the first step.
And who the fuck wants to be responsible for, like...
I'm about to say, yeah. Everybody got something right now that they could be like...
And also understand you could, like, restart your life whenever you want.
At any given moment. I walked into my 13th treatment center, a 35-year-old homeless heroin addict. I had been to 12 inpatient treatment centers. I had lost count of outpatients and detoxes. My mother had bought me a plot. People had taken life insurance policies out on me. I just ended up on life support for 7 days. I had been medevaced to 4 different hospitals in 4 different states for 4 different overdoses. My mother had sold 3 homes to financially pay for me to go to 2 different treatment centers. My worldly possessions, everything that I owned, despite being a successful individual who was the first skateboarder sponsored by Gatorade at 14, hanging out with Michael Jordan, touring the world with Tony Hawk. I had a private tutor that went with, in these movies called Jackass, TV shows called Viva La Bam. New York Times top 10 selling author who had written a book on addiction, did some shit in life people equate to success or happiness, some even dream of doing. The reality is I walked into my 13th inpatient treatment center, May 25th, 2015, with my worldly belongings that consisted of the clothes on my back 8 scarves, 2 jackets, 3 socks, 1 stick of deodorant. It fit into a bag that doubled as a pillow, a needle, a spoon, and a restraining order that my mother just served me to get the fuck up out of her house. I wanted to kill myself, but I didn't want to hurt myself in the process. I was fucking horrible at suicide because I kept waking up and I was at a position in life where I was so low the curb like a skyscraper. So don't tell me that like things are not possible.
Right.
Because now I sit here before you, coming up on 5 years of continuous sobriety. My 3rd book comes out next week. I'm like a productive member of society, a productive tax-paying member of society. You know, I own multiple businesses. Multiple people rely on me. I work in the drug and alcohol treatment field. I put people in treatment for a living. You know, my defects have become my assets. Right?
Damn,
because if you change your perception, you can change your world.
Right.
And this is I feel like it's the best city for you to be. Our city's fucked up right now. There's a lot of people.
But you know what?
Yeah,
Every fucking city says that.
Yeah.
And I'm not minimizing what you just said. I'm just saying the epidemic is so fucking bad that
everywhere.
today in the nation, just today in this nation, 172 people will die as a direct result of an opioid overdose. We're not even talking about like
that could be given to your doctor.
Barbiturates, alcohol. I'm just talking about opioids. Today, 172 people will die. It's the #1 human casualty of offender. It's worse than the peak of the AIDS outbreak. It's worse than the Vietnam War. And the sad thing is that these deaths are preventable.
Right.
So the reason why I just said all that is because I'm a motivational speaker. I travel all over the world to fucking speak. And every city, state, or country I go to, they say, thank God you're here. This is the worst fucking city. It's the worst state.
Like,
meaning that like I won't go to Atlanta and they'll say, I'm glad you're here, but we're pretty good. You know, like you don't hear that, unfortunately.
Well, I also think it's a lot of the prescription drugs. That's really what's
they're the worst
everybody
fucking
gets
drug
everybody
dealers
on.
in the world.
And
They're
they're
worse
making
than the
so much
dope
fucking
boys.
money off of it.
I'm about to say,
You said they gave you 30s when you went to the hospital.
Yeah. I mean, not, and I don't want to say all doctors.
No, you're right.
But because that's not the case at all. But the crooked doctors, the ones that have no problem opening the fucking book and writing you scripts for the right dollar, they're worse drug dealers than the boys on the corner.
Oh, yeah,
because it's socially acceptable.
And they got
I'm
access
going to
to
the
it.
hospital. There's a guy with a stethoscope and a long white jacket.
Right.
And he's going to write me a script. Then I take it to Rite Aid. I don't even pay any money. My insurance covers it. How can it be mad?
Right.
A fucking high school varsity football player breaks his ankle. They load him up with Percocets, whatever milligrams. All of a sudden, now he now builds up this physical dependency, right? So yes, he may not need it anymore, but his body needs it because it's a physical dependency. He's been taking so many for so long that one day the doctor says, you know what, Jim, you're good. You don't need these anymore. Reality is he probably doesn't, but now he has this physical dependency that says, I don't know what you're talking about because I fucking need them.
Right.
So now Jim starts buying Percocet 30s on the street, right? And they're $30 a piece, 30, 60, 90, 120, let's say $150 for 5. He's buying $150 worth for 5 pills. Now that starts to become expensive
How long
for
would
Jim.
that last a person? How long would that last?
It depends, right? It's just varies.
It varies.
But $150 a day becomes expensive after a week, right? Or after a month or years. So then what happens is all of a sudden that word heroin doesn't sound so taboo anymore because I come along and I say, look, you're spending $150 a day, which you don't have. You're stealing it from your mother. You're stealing it from your father, whatever you're doing. Yeah. We could go spend $10. You can sniff a quarter of that bag and you'll be 10 times higher than sniffing those 530s that you're going to buy for $150. So do the math. And then all of a sudden Jim starts saying, well, heroin's not that bad.
Right. Damn.
Yeah.
The reality is the disease of addiction does not discriminate, man. Yale or jail, White House or the outhouse, the results are all the same, and 1 out of 3 people will absolutely be affected.
Can I actually explain? Why do you? There's a lot of like argument if addiction is a disease or is a choice, and you're saying disease. Like
my personal opinion of this is I was genetically predisposed, right? Because my father was an addict, his father was an addict. My mother was married several times to several different men. My brother and sister are by a different man, right? So they can pick up a drink, they could take it or leave it. Me, on the other hand, the only one by my father was addicted. He was addicted, you know. So, and then the reality is, who the fuck cares? If I could give you the right answer, what does it matter? It doesn't change where we're at today.
Right.
Yeah.
So, like, I hear what you're saying, and it's a debate.
I agree.
It's kind of like what came first, the chicken or the egg?
Yeah.
What the fuck's it matter if we
And
do
also,
figure that out
your
today?
story's
I
cool
believe
too
it's a disease,
because
too.
you're.
I do.
Yeah. I get in arguments.
And
every
your
day.
story's cool too because you were a super successful person since young. Like you've been successful since you were fucking.
Well, that's the
when
thing.
I was 13, I never met Michael Jordan. You know what I'm saying?
You
So,
think you think the word drug addict entails the guy who like comes from the projects, single family home, selling dope all night just to feed his family. Here's what my life looked like. My mother was a nuclear physicist on the board of Mercy Hospital. My brother's an attorney in the White House who practices pensions and benefits. My father was a fucking drug addict. I really disliked that man, and I hated drugs and alcohol even more because I saw what it made him do to me, to my mother, to my brother, to my sister. Right. So I actually went out of my way, and I excelled at everything that I did to prove a point that I would never be that motherfucker.
Right.
That's not what I thought a dope fiend was.
Right.
I thought a dope fiend was a guy who already came from the projects, who just had bad luck, and the odds were against him. Yeah. That's not what it is.
And do you think, because a lot of the crew members too, they came sober too.
Yeah.
Was that something that, I mean, I don't know how long ago that whole Steve-O thing was, but I mean, that Steve-O documentary,
he's got like 11
crazy.
years sober
that.
now.
That's awesome though.
We go to
Steve-O
meetings together and shit.
Yeah.
I mean, that whole documentary was fucking, that was scary.
That shit's
like,
I was watching Steve-O on Joe Rogan. That was pretty entertaining too.
Yeah.
I mean, do you keep in touch with a lot of the crew and everything?
All the time, man.
All the time? You guys see each other and stuff?
When I'm out there, I go to meetings with Steve-O. He was just here at the comedy. He did a comedy thing in Philly. I hung out with him.
Probably at the Helium. Yeah.
Oh shit!
He did, yeah. That's where he went. He actually wrote the foreword to my new book.
Oh, cool, man.
What's a foreword? What's that mean?
It's like my last book, Tony Hawk or Bam. One of them wrote the opening. One of them wrote the foreword. I don't know what that is. It's like the first person that writes something when you open a book, I guess. Besides the author.
Good question, kid. Shit, man. Yeah. But so, I mean, are you still close to Bam, I guess? You guys still hang out?
I'm going to go skate at his house tomorrow.
Oh, cool.
That's what's up.
He's doing good, man. He ironically, as fate would have it, has found himself on the other end of addiction and alcoholism. And everything that I say is not like, it's common knowledge, right?
Yeah, like, I've seen all the stuff,
yeah,
too.
so that gives me the right to speak about it here. But yeah, at this present moment, he's doing well. He's doing really well.
Great.
Yeah,
that's good for y'all, man.
I see. I mean, he's got a son too.
Yeah.
I think the kids really changed a lot. Because then, like, it's hard to look at your kid in the face and talk about not doing simple things like when they're young. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't lie or something, right?
Well, that's the funny thing.
And then you sit there and
dude.
you start thinking, you're like, and they're looking at you like, what do you mean? And you're like, like sometimes you're like, damn, I can't even really tell you.
Yeah.
But I was thinking,
like
it's funny that you
small
said that
things.
because growing up, my mother and maybe your mothers, they impressed upon me the same fucking thing, and I thought they were out of their mind insane. Yeah. And all it was you don't lie, you don't cheat, you don't steal, you don't drink, you don't drug, and nothing good happens after midnight. Right? And now, that's the thing that I live my life by. I don't lie, I don't cheat, I don't steal.
Get the fuck in the crib.
Nothing good happens after midnight. Like everything.
Ronald be at the house too much though.
Yeah.
Ronald should get out.
You can find me.
Ronald should get out more. Yeah. That's
I mean, I do get out. I get out, but it's just like I enjoy.
Man, we had to drag fucking Ronald out.
Our house is. I'll make the house comfortable. Therefore, I don't have to go out.
Ronald should start wearing a robe.
That's why he's never in trouble.
Yeah,
when Ronald look cool with a robe,
we're always in trouble.
I left my robe at the house. I would have wore it on right now, but yeah.
But
what I'm about to say was, what do you think? Like, because all you guys are looking great right now. Like, what do you think sparked that? Yeah, no problem. What do you think sparked that? Like, changed you guys' mindset to like, I gotta change something.
I think like maturity number one, and number two, like trials and tribulations, right? Like
everyone had their own demons.
Yeah, and usually what I've found, the number one motivating factor for myself, or I believe most people, that dictates change, is a direct result of pain. Right. So when the pain becomes great enough, I know for myself, I become willing to maybe look at things in a different light, and maybe say maybe what I felt wasn't the right way to feel, or maybe what I thought wasn't the right, and I think just with people's age and as we grow older and realize that, like, at least for me, and I think a lot of the Jackass guys, what we came to the realization is that we're not indispensable, we're not indestructible, we're not getting younger, and now it's like about the end game, the longevity of life, right? Because there's family, there's kids, there's people depend on you, they rely on you, and it's like, if my cats could talk, I would never leave my fucking house. It was tough for me to come out here tonight at 8 p.m.
That's my cat's my motherfucking.
Yeah, so when I'm done,
he can bark. He like a dog outfit. He cool as shit. Like he cool.
Here's my one tattooed here. So when I'm done this, I'll go back home and hang with my. You know what I mean? So like, guys,
I'm about to go kick it with Lil Man. That's my homie.
Lil Man's fat as shit though.
He fat as shit.
He should probably eat some diet kitty, whatever the fuck.
That's my homie, man. He big as shit. He cool. He like he can bark. I think he can bark. He think he a dog. Like,
He
like,
do. Bro, this morning, bro, he
be standing in the hall.
Yeah.
All right, don't even fraud. When I'm coming downstairs, every time he's sitting in the middle of the stairs looking at me, and I'm like, "Hey man, can you get the fuck out of my way, please?" Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like walking around him, and I'm just like, "Hey man, this is kind of fucked up. I can't be doing this shit."
Yeah,
You know what I'm
a
saying?
little bit. So, are you're still expecting that call soon?
No, we're good.
Oh,
I'm just checking.
So what do you guys say to those fucking kids that used to throw your fucking skateboard on the roof and shit and talk all that shit? Like,
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. Why? Because like I was the dude that later on would like do things that I don't think are right today. Right? Like fucking skating and I get kicked out of a place, then I decide I'm gonna take my skateboard and throw it through the window of the building. Right? Like break their window out. That's not cool to do, but I didn't see it at the time.
I'm about to say.
So I get it. You know, we all go through things and transformations, and the one thing that continues to change with me is my perception of things.
Right.
Since I've gotten sober almost 5 years ago, there's only one thing that has stayed the same, and that's my outlook, view, and or opinion on drugs and alcohol when it comes to effective me. Right now, I don't give a fuck what anybody else does. By all means, if it provides you a life that you believe is worth waking up for every day, fucking do it up. Right. Who am I to say yes or no to anything or anybody? But that's the only thing that remains the same with me since I've gotten sober. Anything else is constantly changing. And what I really try to do is practice empathy, sympathy, and compassion with the world. Because if I had the recipe for a perfect life, I would bottle that bitch up. I'd sell it. I'd be a billionaire 1 billion times over. I don't, man. I'm just trying to figure out like how to make tomorrow better than today.
That's the truth.
So I get it, man. I don't have it.
Do you have anything?
In my body.
No, I was thinking like, well, sometimes you feel like I know. Well, this is just me. You know how when your parents tell you to do some shit, you're like, I'm gonna go do that shit. And you're just gonna do it. Like sometimes you just gotta go through that bullshit.
Absolutely.
You gotta burn your hands sometimes to understand the stove's hot.
You know what I'm saying? You can tell a kid as many times as you want, don't do this, don't do that. A kid gonna do what he want to do. You know what I'm saying? And eventually he gonna be like one of us at the crib with the cat chilling, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I do a lot of interviews and they always say, what would you take back? What would you do differently? Would you do anything? Would you take anything back if you could in your life?
I don't like that question.
No, well, I
mean, to be honest,
there's only one thing I would do different in my life. If I could right now, and the only thing that I would change is I would take back the pain and the sleepless nights I caused my loved ones due to my behaviors. Besides that, I wouldn't take away any fucking thing. I wouldn't take away the heroin use. I wouldn't take away the jails, the prisons, all that shit, because it has made me the man that I am today, right? And I'm a man of like my God, right? And I'm a people's person, and there's not a person in the world that I will not help. You know, so Amen. I believe I went through that to become this.
Right, yeah.
And that's a whole other journey I could take you guys on, but that's fucking for a different time.
For another day.
Of course, man. Do you have anything coming up that you want to plug or anything like that?
I have a lot of shit. Just go to my website. It's all one word, BrandonNovak.com. That encapsulates everything.
Instagram, maybe?
Yeah.
Sorry,
Brandon _Novak. But here's what I really want to do, and this is all that matters out of anything that I've said tonight. If anybody out there is struggling with the drink or the drug, and they find themselves in a position that they cannot get out of on their own, you could call me directly, and I will do whatever I can in my powers to help you. And that phone number is 610-635-9092.
That's
all that matters.
Hit up Novak.
How long ago is this? Did we try we tried a week? What was it? A month? We tried a month of we had to take away our vices, right? Mm-hmm. How long did we last?
It's probably a week.
Probably 3 to a couple days.
That's
really?
That's
I
a
thought
cool
it was a week.
thing to do, though.
I had to take away Xbox.
I love that shit. That's like fasting. That's like, dude. I went
but
to.
We sucked though. Like we.
Definitely didn't. We definitely didn't get it done.
But you attempted.
We tried,
and that's what matters.
And for me, like
I'm a fan of that.
I definitely enjoy the drinking for sure. Do you
Whatever.
know what I'm saying? I think that's my vice.
Do it up.
But the one thing that I started doing at least is giving myself like the 4-day breaks.
Yeah.
Like telling myself like I won't this day, and then I don't.
Sure.
So then the next day I could have some fun. But then like my body treats it different. Cause I feel like when it's on a constant rant, I'm just endlessly drinking, and I'm like, and I'll sit there and be like, what am I even chasing now? Am I chasing just to pass the fuck out? Because that's like the more fucked up I'm getting, the more just like I don't even know what the fuck's happening. So it's like, what am I even doing this for? You know?
So with me, mine was
then I have to take that little break. I need to fucking like detox myself. You know what I'm saying? But then it also makes me appreciate when I am doing it. Because when I am doing it, I feel, you know, a lot of times I feel productive. I feel like I'm enjoying myself, you know? But then when I do it all the time, it doesn't become enjoying all the time.
Yeah.
It seems to be fucking like, it's like I need it to be even enjoying myself. And then I start getting sick. And then you just like, and my body doesn't want it. I don't want it. I don't know.
Yeah, just patterns are boring sometimes. You like
patterns are boring.
You like to switch it up.
You hear that, kid? Switch that shit up, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Listen, you're smoking some weed. That's, I mean, you know, but just, you know what I'm saying? Just don't stick in the same habits. Get out. Do some things. See the city. Go have a fucking hobby. You know?
Yeah, do
get as many hobbies as you can. That's the way. I think that's the way to live.
I saw something today that
do
said,
something that makes you passionate about whatever. I don't give a fuck as long as it's wholesome.
Oh yeah, you're right. We're living. I saw something the other day saying that we're living in the era where like this is the easiest time to like be something. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? This is the easiest time to like be successful. Yeah. It's so easy to be successful right now because it's the platforms that we have. Like you could do whatever you want now. Like I feel like 30 years ago,
we reached out to you, bro, by just fucking DMing you.
Instagram, like this,
you know
right
what I'm saying?
now.
We had no connections with Novak. We're just like
30 years ago.
I remember I was sitting. It was funny. I was sitting at the bar. I skipped a scuba diving class that I have to take at Temple. But, you know, fuck that. It was a lot. I thought it was gonna be fun. I thought like you scuba dive.
It's all one of those math theory things that'll be rad.
Dude, we have like class, and I'm like, fuck, I can't do this. You know what I'm saying? So I bailed, and I'm like, shit, you know, I'm feeling a little down. And we're on. I was just checking out Instagram, and I was scrolling through, and I followed Bam not that long ago, and I saw him shout you, and I was like, Novak, oh shit, man, what the fuck? Like, what's he up to? And I checked your shit. I saw you're doing stuff around Philadelphia, and I was like, fuck it, let's hit up Novak.
Yeah, I was rad.
I appreciate you coming on, man. Seriously, it's fun.
I was telling these fellas, like, when I saw it, being from Baltimore, now like a resident of Philadelphia, living, you know, I just bought this place, and I want to become more of a staple and or fixture here in the city for people that like need help. Right. You know, so when I saw your guys' thing and that it predominantly addresses Philadelphia, I was like, this is a good idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I appreciate that.
I like it, man.
For real, we really do.
Nah, but Novak, this is fucking awesome. Man. We appreciate you coming on, man.
I appreciate you guys thinking enough of me to ask me to come on and partake.
Of course, man. So, this is Phuck with Philly. This is Mr. Novak. Until next time, kids, this is Phuck with Philly. We out.
Cheers, man.
Bang!